Let's start with Clover. So you guys know Clover. We're big fans of the stock. It's one of my highest conviction stocks. Clover had a great earnings, had a nice move up. People got excited about it. However, it started to come back to earth. And so I think the question becomes, so what to do with Clover? What am I doing with Clover? What do I plan to do? Because it is one of the heaviest shorted stocks, right?
Yeah.
And although there's a meme push behind it, it hasn't really taken off like I think some people had hoped for. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. I'll discuss a little bit afterwards my thoughts. But if you go to Don Fran's channel, and if you go to, I'm going to give bot commands. You passed it.
Oh, you're going to give bot commands? Oh,
yep. And I want to know if the options flow, which a cool thing for you guys don't know, Don Franz, he's actually live right now, but he's one of our regular guests.
Go check him out at the Don Fran Show.
One part of the Chaos crew. He has this cool bot which actually shows order flow, and you can see stuff coming in. So when you look at, if you can pull up, I'll pull up the date and the time that it came up. Mm-hmm. But we actually did it for Clover at the end of last week. And if you go to August 12th, so this is interesting. Is this shared with everybody right now?
No, I don't have the ability to share.
Okay. So you guys can check this out at, if you guys are a part of Don Fran Show, it is in his Discord. We'll also share it in our Discord for our Chaos Crew members. So just remind us, guys, we'll actually throw a screenshot of this in there. So this is interesting because as of August 13th, Friday, the premiums for calls on Clover were 8.1 million, and then puts were 7 million. Mm-hmm. Pretty close. Thursday, calls were 22.5 million, and puts were 5 million. So a huge difference between calls and puts. Does any of that data give you any conviction, any different conviction on Clover, and whether you would want to be into it, or your conviction on Clover moving forward? Just your general sentiment.
Not being an options guy, I don't necessarily know if I can give too much on that. That's obviously a question for Don. But I think that it's definitely telling to see the type of buying volume that's come in. And if they're buying that with the intention of, saying, hey, if I'll hold these even through expiration, I think there's definitely a case you can make that there's a lot more bulls going into this than there are bears. And we've seen a lot of short interest on Clover in general. So I think that the fact that we're seeing a lot of this call volume come in could indicate a buy signal for sure.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it matters if you're an options guy? If I told you $23 million worth of money came into Clover versus $5 million.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's essentially bullish sentiment.
Yes.
Right? I think that's an interesting thing that obviously I wanted you to show Friday as well, because Friday it was sort of split. However, we've talked about, there's been this narrative surrounding Clover, and a couple things happen. One, I think there's been some manipulation. I mean, pretty much almost every day when the market opens, before earnings at least, you'd see this sell-off. And especially when the expiration for the leadership, the executives, to sell shares. Yeah. I think there was manipulation, because we found out that actually they didn't sell shares. However, it was the shorts. They're actually putting money in, acting like, hey, they're selling shares and trying to freak people out. I don't know if you can overlook these earnings. I don't know how many earnings we need and how much growth we need to show the viability of Clover. Like, if you look back at what caused all this all started off of a Hindenburg slam piece. And from there, it became this heavily shorted stock. And when you look at it, I know if you look at technicals, there's a story in technicals, but if you're in this for the long term, and I'm certainly in this for the long term, I have nothing but time. And the way this stock is growing, it's only a matter of time. This fundamentals will catch up, and their valuation will catch up to what type of growth this stock is seeing.
Yeah, you look at the chart and it's held 767, 770 really well as a bottom support. You can see how many times it's come back down to retest that, and it's actually held it really well even through earnings and some of the choppiness that we've seen. So anytime it comes down to retest that area, I would say that it certainly looks like a good opportunity to either add to or maybe get a starting position. So from a technical standpoint, that's the area that I'd be watching. And then obviously if it starts to build momentum yet again, watch for it over 930 and then that pivotal $10 resistance as well. But really the story here is the opportunity to accumulate down in the low eights. It's over the last couple of months, it's really kind of proven itself down in this area as a really solid support.
Yeah, and how do you think, Mad Dick says if by any chance the market pulls back, this will be down to what are your thoughts on that? Because I actually, when we've seen the market down, Clover actually hasn't been as volatile as we thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Clover specifically, but I will say that in a downturn of the market, in a correction, usually the first things that go are the speculative plays.
Yeah.
So there's definitely risk involved in holding Clover in anticipation of a market correction. We don't feel right now that we're going to experience one, just given some of the tailwinds that are coming for the market. But obviously anything goes, anything can happen. You just never know of the just in case. But all things that we're seeing right now are pointing to a bull run into the end of the year.
Yeah, and that remains to be seen. I'm optimistic about the second half of the year. I'm probably not as optimistic as Brad is, but I think, if there's a sell-off, sure, I think everything's going to come down, and I think Clover will be hit. And once it breaks that support you talked about, I think it could get ugly.
Yes.
However, a red day or something like a red week, actually Clover hasn't responded as horribly as you would think it would. But there is inherent risk, and it could be frustrating. I think what we've learned over these last two little push-ups, maybe 3 push-ups with Clover, is that you probably need to take profits when those opportunities are presented, unless it's a long-term investing strategy. If you're long-term investing, it's just add on the dips, keep adding, feel comfortable, as far as I'm concerned in my strategy. But really taking the opportunities when they come, because you're going to continue to see these shorts like try to push it, and eventually I think that'll clear, and I think it's a $20 stock and all that good stuff, but I don't think that's a straight line move up, as we've seen indications into earnings, or right after earnings went up close to $10, but now right back to that $8. My conviction, though, has not changed on it, so remains to be seen this week. I am not sure what comes this week, but I still feel pretty optimistic as far as the month of September is concerned, going into the month of September and through September. The one challenge is the Delta variant, because the costs really have hampered Clover with COVID. And so this presents a challenge. So what I'll probably do is I'll wait till the Delta variant is clear, and then that's when I will begin to add. I won't sell, but I'll begin to add because I do have a little bit of wiggle room as far as scaling in and adding on to it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited for Clover. Conviction hasn't changed, guys. I hope that you guys found value in this, and if you did, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe. We'll keep you updated on Clove. It's my number one stock to talk about. It's not my biggest position, but it's my number one stock to talk about. It's safe to say. And let us know in the comments if you're holding Clove, what your sentiments are. I know not everybody's as high on it as we are, but like Alan, he's in at 791, which is a great average.
Yeah.
He's saying he'll hold. So either he's lying or he got a great price. I'm going to just that's going to be my lie. No. So anyways, that's Clove.
Yeah.